You know, I don't drink coffee like often. Hey, go lay down. Sorry guys.
My dog.
Anyways, I don't drink coffee often, but like when I do, it's heavenly because I don't know, it's just so warm and it's like really cold right now here in Texas. I mean, scratch that. It's cold for Texas, like, 20 degrees or whatever, bare like, borderline 30 degrees, but like it's not compared to like, I don't know, Alaska or Minnesota or something like that. Anyway, so I have decided to do this video because talking a little bit about my surgery and recovery time and whatnot, because I found when I was looking for that information to see another person's story, there was literally nothing out there. So I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how long the recovery was gonna take. I didn't know what exactly was gonna happen. So I guess I can try to start from the beginning. And I'm so sorry if this is a little all over the place because it definitely was not planned. It's just a snow day in Texas. So since it's a snow day in Texas, we are kind of like stuck inside. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this video. So yeah. If you are new to my channel, my name is Alexis, and typically on this channel I will be doing mostly like DIY projects for my wedding, but of course I might do some like vlogs here and there. And sorry guys, I'm laughing because my dog just got shocked, which is probably not funny, sorry. So let's get into it. Last year in March of 2017, I had surgery on my femur to get a giant cell tumor removed. So I'm gonna rewind a little bit just to give you the idea of how long it took for them to find out, what was wrong with me. So in March of 2016, because I was a runner, I've been running since I was 16, and I am currently 27, or actually just kidding, I'm 26. Gonna be 27 this year in October, so it's like a long time from now. Anyways, yeah, so I was a runner. I was a very athletic person. I was in the gym all the time. And so in March of 2016, when I started going for my runs, I started having some knee pain. And it was very minor, like nothing that I couldn't really handle too much. But it was, quite annoying. It's an annoying feeling when you've never felt something like that before. So I was being my own doctor. I was Googling, everything under the sun about knee pains, and I came to the conclusion that it was runner's knee. Because, I'm a doctor and I can self-diagnose myself. Anyways, so I, thought it was runner's knee, looked up everything that would give me direction on what to do from that point in terms of like, physical therapy at home, resting, laying off and resting and icing and elevating my leg, since this was my right leg that was having the pain. And so, this is Lincoln, guys. He's a Great Dane puppy. And he is 7 months. Oh, hey, my love. Sorry, y'all. So, let's see, that was in March, and I would lay off of it for a month, and I would do everything I needed to do to try to get it to heal, and then I would try to start running again. And every time I attempted to try to run again, it was getting worse. It just wasn't working. It wasn't working for me. I wasn't sure what to do. So in November, 8 months later, I decided to go see a doctor. So the reason I went to go see a doctor was because I was dealing with this ugly cough for about 2 weeks, and I was having some pain on my, actually I think it was the left side of my chest, and then also as well as, you know, my knee pain that hadn't gone away. So I went to go see the doctor. The doctor said that the pain was just from a constant cough that I had. It was about 2 weeks that I had this cough. And I'm not trying to gross you guys out, but I did cough up like a super small, like blood clot, which I thought was, you know, very, you know, not okay. And so I told her about that, and she said it was normal because of the cough that, you know, I had going. And then as for my knee, she went ahead and confirmed my diagnosis that I found, that it was runner's knee. So this was in November 2016. A week later, after I went to go see her, I was lying in bed and I just like started, you know, wheezing a little bit. And so then I, you know, sat up and I felt some liquid in my mouth, and put my fingers to my mouth, and turns out there was a lot of blood coming up, you know, from my lungs or somewhere in my body. And so I run to the restroom and I just start coughing up all this blood. And I was freaking out. I didn't know if I could even talk on the phone because I couldn't stop coughing. And so then at that point, you know, I just kept coughing, hoping that it would stop, which is, you know, kind of stupid because if it didn't stop, where would I be? Anyways, so I'm sorry that I laugh about it. It's just, I don't know, I guess how I deal with crappy things that happen in my life, you know, just laugh it off a little bit. But yeah, so once, you know, it started to slow down on the blood coughing, I drove myself to the emergency room. They did a CT scan, or was it an MRI? I think it was a CT scan of my lungs. And the doctor there told me that I had quite a few nodules in my lungs. She said it was normal to have like 1 or 2, but she said I had like 9 or 10. And so she referred me to a pulmonary, oh my gosh, pulmonary doctor. I don't know if I'm saying that right, so I'm so sorry. And then she also prescribed me some really strong antibiotics because she said that she couldn't tell me exactly what was going on or what had happened to me. So I took these antibiotics, and after I took the antibiotics, I felt fine. And I was like, I don't need to go and see that doctor, especially because like I'm a broke college student, so I'm gonna do anything I can to not go to the doctor. So yeah, I didn't go and see that specialist. And come March, my husband, he had to leave for 2 weeks for work. And so we lived in a 3rd floor apartment, and I could barely walk up and down those stairs at this point. I was on crutches. Like my knee had gotten that bad that I was on crutches. And so at the time we had 3 dogs. We have 4 now. But at the time we had 3 dogs, and I, you know, looked at him and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna, you know, walk up and down these stairs to take them out like every day while you're gone. And he came up with the idea that we could get some grass pads, some pea pads, and put it out on the patio, and I would just have to clean it up every day. And I was like, okay, that would work. So that's what we ended up doing. We trained them for the next 2 weeks or the next, you know, couple weeks before he left, to go on the patio on the pea pads and on the fake grass. And it worked out, you know, very, very well. When he did leave, one of the days after he left, I was out there cleaning, you know, the mess, and I ended up slipping, and I fell backwards against my sliding door. And the fall didn't hurt. What hurt was the fact that like I bent my knee, you know, completely, like the way your knee normally bends, you know, and I bent it, you know, completely flat, like, and I hadn't done that in a while because my knee was just, you know, it hurt so much it wouldn't do that. And so I like yelled out in pain, and I'm not even kidding, guys. Like, I've never broken anything in my life, and that's what it felt like. I mean, I guess I don't really know if that's what it feels like, but to me, it felt like I'd broken like my leg, and I had to crawl back inside because I could not stand. I could not stand, and my crutches were outside because I was just outside, and I crawled back inside and called my husband crying, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And he was like, do you want me to call an ambulance for you? And I was like, no. Like, I was like, I really can't afford that right now. And so I just toughed it out, just laid there for a little while, and then finally when I was able to move, got some ice, iced it. So that happened on a Monday, and so I went to go see my doctor on Friday, so the end of the week, that same week on Friday. But I asked if I could see a different doctor because I was, kind of pissed off at my last doctor who told me that cough, that little blood clot was normal, and a week later I was coughing up a crap ton of blood. So I didn't want to see her again. So I asked if I could see someone else, and so they let me go ahead and see someone else, and this woman was about to send me home because she said that since it was such an acute injury, she wanted the swelling to go down before they could, analyze my leg. And I sat there and I looked at her and I was like, no. I was like, I need you to figure out what is wrong with me right now. I was like, because I cannot lift my leg. And I was sitting there on, the little table bench that you're supposed to sit on when you go to the doctors. And I told her, I was like, I cannot lift my leg. And I lifted my left leg, because my left leg's fine, up and down straight, how you're supposed to be able to do it. And she asked me to do my right, and I couldn't move it. Like, I could not move it, you guys. And she was like, okay, that's kind of odd. She's like, let's go ahead and get you an x-ray. And so they went ahead and got me an x-ray. And when the third image came, because the first two images were fine, when the third image came, they said it looked like I had what was called a giant cell tumor. They said that they couldn't give me a definitive answer on for sure if that's what it was, but they would need me to go and get an MRI that same evening. So I went to go get an MRI done. The results came in on Monday, so the weekend passed. The results came in on Monday. I got a call from the doctor's office, and they confirmed the diagnosis of it being a giant cell tumor. And at that point, they gave me a phone number to my doctor, and he's actually I guess this is just what he tells me, so I don't really know. I'd never fact check this, but apparently he's one of the only doctors that's in the US that's really dealt with giant cell tumors, because it is apparently very, very rare. So they gave me his number on Monday after they gave me a call, and I scheduled an appointment with him on Tuesday, so the next day, because he said he saw my images, and I told him when I talked to the receptionist or the woman on the phone, and she asked me if there was anything else that they needed to know about my situation, and I told them that about the incident that had happened in November, how I was coughing up blood, and the doctor there had said I had some nodules in my lungs, but I never went to go get it looked into it further. And so on Tuesday, when I went to go see them, they had me go down and get another CT scan of my lungs, just because they wanted to see if there were any changes from the first CT scan I had gotten. And so I go and get the CT scan. I go and see him in his office, and he's like, all right, he's like, so you have what is called an aggressive giant cell tumor. It is very rare. We still don't know why it occurs. We don't know where it comes from. It's not hereditary. And he's like, and you have something even more rare. It metastasized to your lungs. And I'm just sitting there like in shock, because I don't smoke. I'm very active. I'm just like, what? Like, I have tumors in my lungs. And I'm just sitting there, and my husband's like, he's with me, and it was a lot to take in. And he's like, you know, good thing is that, I'm sorry. I mean, I know that they're benign, but it's just going through all of that and re-talking about it kind of just like, no, it makes me a little emotional. So, anyways, so I'm sitting there and he's like, you know, the good thing is that, out of all the cases that we've seen, of giant cell tumors, they've all mostly been benign. He's like, I see that you're on crutches. He's like, I'm very, very happy that you are on crutches, because he's like, you are literally a fall away from breaking your femur. And he said that, so what this tumor did was it ate the inside of my bone. So he said that we needed to go and have surgery immediately, and what he was going to do was fill it with bone cement. And he also wanted to get me on a shot called Lexijoo, and this shot has only been FDA approved for, I think, about 2 years now. And he said that they've had some, you know, really great results with it and hardly any side effects. And he said that, so with this tumor, sorry guys, so with this tumor, it has a 50% chance, I think like 50 to 80% chance of reoccurrence after surgery. And he says with this shot, it drops that percentage down to like 30. And I was like, okay, you know, I'll do the shot. And mind you, he told me it was expensive, but I thought it was like, you know, a couple $100 expensive. And I'll tell you that story in a little bit. Anyway, so he tells me that we need to get into surgery immediately. Well, I guess not immediately. So he scheduled my appointment for Thursday morning at like 6 a.m. To go into surgery. And so I went into surgery, they cleaned it out, they filled my bone with bone cement, and I had to get started on taking my Lexijoo shot right away. Now, I know y'all are kind of wondering cost. So the surgery itself, I remember it being, and that's just here in Texas. I don't know anywhere else around the world, and I guess it depends on, like, you know, who you go and see. And, you know, there's many factors that play into price. But here in Texas, the doctor that I saw at Texas Oncology, my surgery itself, not including the insurance portion that got covered, just the surgery itself was $16,000. And then I actually came to find out later that the shot that I have to take, so this shot that I have to take it every month for the next 5 years, minimum 5 years, while every 3 months I get x-rayed and CT scanned, so they can, you know, see my progress and make sure that it's not coming back. Now this shot itself, the Lexijoo shot, is $5,600. Now both of these prices are not with insurance. If you have really good insurance, you know, you're looking at paying very, very minimal. I know for the surgery portion, I believe after my insurance, I think I had to pay like either $2 or $4 grand. I really can't remember. But at that point, from all the CT scans, MRIs, and doctor visits that I had already met my deductible and out of pocket. So I actually ended up getting, after paying what I needed to, I only paid a portion, half of what I owed. So I think if I remember correctly, I think the surgery after my insurance was around $4,000, and I only paid half, which was like $2,000. And so I ended up getting a refund of that $2,000 of like, I think like $700, because I had already met my deductible and out of pocket, so they owed me money. And I ended up being covered for the rest of the year for anything that I needed done after, you know, my surgery and all that stuff, because I had already met all of those. all those requirements. So now that was the cost of the surgery. That was my cost after insurance. And then even for the shot, since I had already met my deductible, and this is why I didn't find out about the cost of the shot so much later, I didn't have to pay anything for my shot at that point. So went into surgery, had it removed, everything was good. Now we're gonna talk about recovery. So I had this huge like cast looking thing, and I'll show y'all a picture here somewhere. I had this huge like cast looking thing on my right leg. I couldn't take it off for 3 weeks. I had to wear it for 3 weeks, and I was not able to drive anywhere also because, I mean, it was on my right leg, and I mean, here in Texas or in the US, you know, most of us, I mean, I guess most of us drive with our right leg, but the gas pedal is on the right. Yeah, I couldn't drive anywhere for 3 weeks. I was wearing this cast thing for like 3 weeks. When I had to shower, I ended up having to buy like one of those shower handles that come down, and I had to buy a chair to sit in so that way my foot can be out of the shower while I shower. So after that 3 weeks, after the 3 weeks went by and my scar started to close, or heal, my scar started to heal, I started seeing a physical therapist. Now, I was supposed to see the physical therapist 3 times a week for, I believe, like 6 months. But unfortunately for me, well, I guess it's not really unfortunate, it's good for me. But anyways, I am a full-time worker and a full-time student. So while all this was happening during my recovery time, school was just about ending, and I did sign up for a summer class, but my summer class wasn't going to start, let's see, so my summer class started in June. Sorry y'all, I had to reposition myself. Let's see, March, April, so I was basically in recovery all of April, and so yeah, so then June, so May, so all of May is, so the 4 weeks that I had off in May, I spent doing physical therapy. So I went 3 times a week for that entire month, and I was supposed to go, like I said earlier, I was supposed to go for about 6 months, but unfortunately school was going to be starting, my summer class was going to be starting for me, so I could not attend physical therapy for that much longer. So I just did what I could, and since I go to Texas State, it's a very hilly campus, so I did a lot of walking, which was, you know, good for my knee. And, you know, it did help, but I wasn't able to keep up with like the physical therapy exercises at home, just because, again, like I said, I work full time, and I was going to school, and yes, I was only taking 1 summer class, but that summer class was Monday through Friday, and it was a 3-hour-long class. So, or no, it wasn't. I don't remember how long it was, but still, it was, cause I mean, I live South Austin, and it takes me about 45 minutes to get from my place to campus, and then back, and then get ready to go to work. I mean, I had time to do some physical therapy, but I was just, you know, a lot of times I was just exhausted, and I didn't want to do anything. And that's my fault. I'm lazy. I was lazy. I was being lazy. Sorry, I'm not lazy. But so, I mean, recovery is going to take everyone a different amount of time, depending on where your giant cell tumor is. You know, I've met a girl in the UK over Instagram who said hers was in her foot, and unfortunately, she's actually not taking the shot that I'm taking, the Lexijoo shot, and she since hers was in her foot, she said after 12 weeks after her surgery, it came back. So she has to get surgery again, you know, unfortunately for her. So, you know, that can happen to you as well. And it can happen to me as well. I mean, this shot isn't guaranteed 100% of it not coming back. Like I said, it only reduces it to about 30% of reoccurrence. So basically, after my summer class, I did start, I started my fall semester, did a lot more walking. And at this point, you know, I was able to, I was also incorporating, you know, some squats, some stretches, a lot more walking, hiking. At this point, I couldn't run yet. And that is and still is my ultimate goal, is to run, you know, perfectly pain-free. And we are now in January, and I believe that's 10 months after my surgery. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I mean, I'm still in pain sometimes. You know, I have people ask like, wow, you know, how come you're still in so much pain? Like, your surgery was, you know, almost a year ago. And I'm just like, it was a for me, I mean, that particular bone was a major surgery. Like, it wasn't my muscle that was affected, it was my bone. And then my muscle around it was also affected because my muscle, you know, they had to cut through my muscle to get to my bone. And I, you know, when I came out of surgery, I literally had no muscle in my right leg. I mean, not only from surgery, but also because I couldn't walk practically for almost a year before my surgery. Actually, no, it was like a year. Until my surgery, until we found out actually what was wrong with it. And so yeah, like, I'm still working on building that muscle, and I still am in pain. I still can't fully, I mean, I can bend my knee and I can walk and I can run, but I'm not gonna say it's like, you know, smooth sailing for me. I still have sharp pains here and there, and I think this is something, the recovery process is, I think, for somebody who has maybe the exact same surgery that I have in the femur, I think you are looking at about maybe a year and a half of recovery to, you know, fully gain, you know, your strength and that pain-free feeling of your leg. And again, I could be wrong. Like I said, I only went to physical therapy for 1 month when I was supposed to go for 6. I just didn't have the time. And if you're going to physical therapy for the full 6 months, then you might recover faster than I have. But yeah, I just, you know, I wanted to make this video because, I mean, I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the beginning, but I mean, like I said, when I was going through this situation, I could not find anything on the recovery process, like, and what I could do to speed it up, and what I could do to help cope with everything that was going on. I know people might be thinking that I'm overreacting because yes, it is benign, but it's affected me in other ways. You know, I went through I went through a mild, you know, form of depression for a couple months because running was my outlet. That was the way I was escaping all of my stress. I also had gained a lot of weight, which even added more to my depression. And then I found out, so with this shot, you are not allowed to have kids. I mean, at the moment, while you're taking this shot. And so my initial plan, like I said, I'm 26, and my plan was to try to start having kids by the time I was like 28, and now that time frame is being pushed up to 31 or longer. So that even put me into a little bit more of a depression. So yeah, I just wanted to, you know, everyone handles things differently, and I just wanted to let you guys know this is what I went through. And if you do want to reach out to me and talk to me, and if you have any more questions, you know, comment below. Find me on Instagram, add me on Snapchat, and I'd be happy, so happy to talk to you guys about what I went through and how I could help you cope through it. Even though, I mean, it is benign, or mine was benign, who knows, you may be, someone may be the unlucky one where it's not benign. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to my story, and I really hope that I was able to help someone who had questions about what a giant cell tumor is, and how the recovery process goes. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.